Hi, I'm Dan Gordon with Dan Gordon Enterprise, a transformational coach and training company. I've been fortunate enough to have as my clients some very, very successful people. Some are purely financially successful, and others have found more success in how they serve the world. Success takes on many forms. One of the most important things I've learned in my experience of working with successful people is that everyone struggles with something. Just because you're rich, powerful, or beautiful, your problems don't go away. Quite the opposite, in fact. The bigger you play in life, the bigger your problems get. I'll give you a spoiler alert right now on success. There's no place to get in life where everything is great. If you're a miserable middle-income person, you'll be a miserable wealthy person. But there's one big lesson I've learned from coaching my uber successful clients. This is one you're really going to want to listen to, and it's also the one you probably won't like. In fact, this is the single one aspect in the nature of success that separates truly successful people from those who spend their lives wondering why they never achieved their full potential. Rather than just tell you what it is so it makes sense, I'm going to explain it to you this way. Let's say you were suffering from a medical condition. This condition caused you to literally double your body weight permanently. Think about how you'd feel every time you looked in the mirror. Now, sure, how you look on the outside doesn't determine your value as a person, and yet it would still be a struggle. Every morning, looking in the bathroom mirror, every day, seeing your reflection in windows, having to shop for clothes and seeing the reactions from other people. It wouldn't take long before you felt terribly discouraged and disappointed. Eventually, you try to stop seeing your reflection, hiding your mirrors, and just wanting to forget your body size. Now, to be clear, I don't intend to fat shame anybody. Personally, I've struggled with my weight throughout my life, so I know from where I speak. And what does it all have to do with the nature of success? Well, a lot, actually. The single most important aspect of truly successful people is their willingness to stare in the face of the things most people avoid. Their deepest, darkest, most insidious personal flaws. They don't hide their mirrors. Instead, they demand to look into them. Successful people confront their flaws and struggles every day. For example, you may not be very adept at selling. You may not be good at networking. You may feel inept when it comes to marketing yourself or your company. So you probably tend to shy away from doing those things. I mean, it makes sense. When something makes us feel bad, we tend not to do it so much. But imagine what it would be like if you decided to do these things every day. Taking a job as a salesperson when you suck at selling. It would be like torture for most of us. Successful people see it as an adventure. Instead of pulling back from the things they're no good at, they move forward into them. Instead of being debilitated by examining their character flaws, they accept them and often work on improving them. Successful people, truly successful people, rewire the red and green traffic lights of their lives. The difficult things that make most people stop, successful people accelerate towards. The easy things most people are attracted to, successful people avoid. They know there's no growth there. It's been my experience that the majority of people in the world live their lives as if they're navigating a minefield, terrified of taking the wrong step, making mistakes, failing, being rejected. But successful people, they barrel right through those minefields. Now, how do they avoid stepping on landmines? They don't. Every successful person I've ever worked with has failed over and over and over again. They have lost fortunes, been publicly ridiculed, have made huge mistakes, and suffered devastating personal losses. And when all that happens to them, you know what they do? They get back up and try again. This is the nature of truly successful people. It's the mindset of success. These people aren't necessarily smarter than most, They aren't always more charismatic or creative. They have simply chosen to take all those things that everyone struggles with and not let it stop them. They invest themselves in the practice of repeatedly failing at the things they don't do well. They know it's the only way to achieve mastery over those things. This is the mindset of success. As a young man, I was assigned to do a school book report on Dr. Martin Luther King. I became fascinated by how, out of all the people who were speaking on civil rights in that era, Dr. King became a phenomenon. It set me on a path of investigating bold and successful people like Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, and many more. I wanted to know what they had that was unique and superior to everyone else. And you know what? I found it. Each one of them, in their own way, put themselves in the center of their greatest personal struggle. They entered into the darkest corners of their being. They stared into the mirror of their greatest fears and deepest flaws. Through that dark corridor, that baptism by fire, they came out greater beings. They seemed fearless and became willing to step forward into any hazardous endeavor. It's as if they were no longer bound by any limitations. Nothing was impossible for them. They lived in a kind of freedom that most of us can't even comprehend. Now you know what's ahead of you on this path of success. You know what the journey is going to be like. I suppose you have to ask yourself if the rewards you're seeking are worth the effort. Maybe after hearing all of this, the corporate cubicle life doesn't sound so bad after all. But I hope that instead of discouraged, you feel excited to step into this whole new way of being, excited to taste success in ways you never have before. And if you are excited, the good news is I'm going to help you. You don't have to do this on your own. I'm right here. I know with complete certainty I can help you because I already have helped literally hundreds of people transform their lives and do the very same thing. Before I became a speaker and business coach, I started this career many years ago as a facilitator for a personal development company. Flying all over the country, I taught weekend seminars designed to move people through their struggles and into more fulfilling lives. I was honored to be considered one of the most sought-after instructors in the company. In teaching all these courses, I had the rare opportunity to meet and help hundreds of people from all walks of life. I developed this ability to, in a way, point the flashlight at the things people least wanted to look at in their lives. And yet, those same things were like the keys to their prison cells. Revealing their struggles helped set them free. There was one student in particular I'll always remember. He came into the seminar on Friday a very angry and disenfranchised young man. He then proceeded to spend most of the weekend sitting against the back wall, his arms crossed and silent. When I did ask him to participate, he just threatened to leave. But he didn't. In fact, as it turns out, he was one of the most courageous people I have ever met. Because eventually he did start talking, and what he talked about was a shocking story of his past, one that was filled with a kind of darkness and pain I couldn't even imagine. To protect himself, he had built a wall of anger between his heart and the rest of the world. But rather than run away from it, he chose to dig in and started to dismantle that wall. He went into his fear instead of turning away from it. Then there was this moment, the entire class sitting with him, huddled on the floor, tears streaming down his face, and he just let it all go. I still remember watching the lights turn back on in his eyes. The pain left his body, and he was transformed. As we all sat there together, he looked up at me and said, "Dan, people who don't want to look at themselves definitely don't want to talk to you." We all had a good healing laugh. Before I left that weekend, he gave me a big hug and thanked me for saving his life. I said to him, "Nah, I just pointed the way. You did all the work." Years later, I got curious and checked in on him. He had a thriving law practice, a beautiful family, and was doing amazing things for his community. He's a constant reminder to me that no one is truly lost. As bad as things get, there's always another path leading to success and happiness. So here we are. I will be presenting you with a challenging perspective on your business and on your life. I'm going to invite you to look at all the aspects of who you are as a person in the world, and not just the struggles you've been avoiding, but also your personal greatness. That superhero you've probably been denying. This path of self-discovery, of removing the blocks that have kept you from everything you want in life, is the most exciting adventure you can ever take on. Trust me, once you begin this journey, you'll be hooked on it. And if you ever feel like giving up, know this. Most people quit something difficult after they've already gone 80% of the distance. Wanting to quit is actually part of the nature of success. It lets us know that victory is right around the corner. What I'm offering you is like a free pass out of your self-created penitentiary. You're going to have the opportunity to examine the nature of your personal greatness in ways you've never even considered. The opportunity to live your life unlimited. Or you can shut this off now. Take the easy path. You won't be alone. You will be welcomed with open arms by the masses who live in mediocrity. Most people in the world live as slaves to their own limited thinking. It's all your choice. What are you going to do? Well, you're still listening. So let's begin.